One. One dice. Put TNH on it. And take the dice and sling it against the wall. And whatever it land on, let it be. In my opinion. This is 808. I'm talking to you straight. When you look at Donald Trump past, when you look in his past, he was crook. But not so much of a crook, he understood the system. Okay? And he used the system to his advantage. Okay? When you start talking about taxes, he don't have to show his tax return. A Federal Reserve note is for all debts, public and private. The only person he have to show his tax return to, according to the unjust law of the Internal Revenue Service, is the Internal Revenue Service. But he basically don't owe no taxes. None of the people in these United States of America owe taxes to anybody. But taxes are being collected under threat, duress, and coercion. The people doesn't owe any taxes, income taxes or property taxes. When you understand common law, when you understand the godly side of it. And the people never did agree to pay taxes. Okay? But if they don't pay, they have a real problem by the powers that be. So, when you look at his tax situation, well, you didn't disclose your 1040, your 1048. Well, he don't have to disclose it to nobody but the Internal Revenue Service. And if he didn't pay no taxes, well, ain't nothing wrong with that. He didn't owe none. Because he did not damage any property of the Internal Revenue Service. He did not borrow anything from the Internal Revenue Service. He did not cause no personal injury to the Internal Revenue Service. Well, they don't have no claim against him or anybody else. It's all organized crime. And this is 808. Now, I'm going to tell it to you straight. Okay? But if you refuse and you challenge them on that matter, you have problem because they're gangsters. Okay? See? And the Internal Revenue Service is the hitman for the Treasury Department. Okay? Now, go over on the other side and look at Miss Hillary Clinton. All right? In my opinion, she dropped the ball in Benghazi. All right? That's just my personal opinion. And you go back and look at the files and do your investigation. Her and Obama dropped the ball on Benghazi. She's trying to protect Obama, but Obama is involved in it too. We got an ambassador killed and other distinguished and impeccable servicemen because she failed to act on upgrading the security in Benghazi. It was rolling across her screen that those people needed more security. She know that was a dangerous zone. You know he was fighting against Muslims. Muslims don't jack around. They'll take you out if you make them mad. I mean, she know that they needed more security there, and she was in charge of it. She was the head person in charge over the whole operation. You knew what was going on in Benghazi. You had already caused insurrection and rebellion against the leader of Libya, because the United States backed the rebels in Libya that wanted to overthrow the government. The United States went along with that because they wanted a regime change. Okay? But they done it on Obama's watch. See, all that happened to Obama, some of the things that Obama did, and some of the things that happened under his administration only happened because he was a black or so-called black president. Because now you got a president that is chief and commander of the United States of America, and you go to Libya to overthrow one of the greatest leaders in Africa, a leader who was trying to do something more and better for Africa as a continent, not just as Libya. Gaddafi was one of the most greatest and smartest leader, okay, who ever reigned in Africa, as far as doing something for the overall majority of the people. He wanted to create a AMF, an African Monetary Fund and central banks. That's what he wanted to do for his country. So you have a president who is a black president and from Africa, took out one of the greatest African leaders. This happened on the Obama watch, and you call yourself an African, and you took out the best thing that they had in Africa as far as leadership. This is 808. I'm telling it to you straight. So Obama was used because you basically has a constitution here in this country. The United States of America said in Section 4 of the 14th Amendment, whether this was wrote for black people or whether it was wrote for the country, that the validity of the debt in suppressing insurrection and rebellion will not be questioned, meaning the value of the cost of suppressing insurrection and rebellion in this country, whatever it costs the government or law enforcement in suppressing insurrection and rebellion, won't be questioned. Make no difference how much it is. Make no difference what the price is. It is not going to be questioned. We're paid off. That's what it says in the 14th Amendment. Now, whether this was wrote for the country, or whether it was wrote for black people, or whether you might have been telling black people, all right, we done saw give y'all some liberty. Okay? If you start in the shit, whatever happened, it won't be questioned. Okay? And that's the message that they're throwing out here today. They're telling mostly the black man, don't you buck on me, I'm still your master. Okay? See, this is 808. I'm talking to you straight. So when we look at the election today, what do you got to lose? Okay? You may be damned if you do and damned if you don't. Okay, let's go back to Trump. Let's look at Trump University. Okay, that was a lot of people ain't satisfied with that. Was there some flim flam and some scheming? Did some people got ripped off? Do your investigation. Do your research. Tell me what you think, and we'll sit down and talk about it. Now, Clinton been in office for 30 years. She's been in politics for 30 years. Miss Clinton is a queen of politics, buddy. I'm telling you, she's a queen. Okay? She's standing out front. Now, she may not be that smart, but right now she's standing out front. But you've been involved in this thing for the past 30 years. Okay? Look at what you got. This country is $17 trillion in debt. 17 trillion. And that's what they disclose on the public side. But a Federal Reserve note is for all debt, public and private. The people don't know what the debt is on the private side. It may end up to be about 60 trillion. We have sold out to other countries. A lot of countries are holding these Federal Reserve notes. The so-called legal tender that is used in America, which is a debt. So anytime a foreign entity or country has notes printed by the United States Treasury, printed by the Federal Reserve and signed off on by the Department of Treasury. See, the Federal Reserve didn't sign the Federal Reserve note. They just got the name on it saying they created it. The Treasury Department, the one signed off on it. You look down there on the bottom. Federal Reserve didn't sign that note. See? So every time we use that note, because the definition of a note is basically a promise to pay money. See? Go to Black's Law Dictionary and look up the definition of a note. It's a promise to pay. It's not payment. So, in actuality, it really shouldn't be legal tender because it doesn't pay for anything. It just promised that it's going to pay. And a lot of times, promises cannot be met. Okay? So I believe the Supreme Court of this United States of America, the powers that be, made a ruling that a debt, okay, cannot be counted, okay, as an asset, okay, it's a liability. See, because you can have a ton of notes or notes signifying a debt, but if nobody come along and pay those debts, all you got is notes or promises to pay. So a debt is not an asset until it's paid off. See, so all the foreign countries that have a Federal Reserve note basically has a debt, basically has a claim against this country. This is 808. I'm talking to you straight. So look at the country, okay? And I know some of y'all out there, I mean, I've heard it. Some of y'all out there say Trump is a dumbass, all right? Well, let's look at that now. If you call Trump a dumbass, then you ought to understand what a dumbass is, all right? Look at this country. Go back for the past 30 years. Look at what has happened in this country, okay? That supposed have been ran by the smart people. Look at the condition of it. Like I say, we're $17 trillion in debt, and it's rising. That's on the public side. We lost the war in Vietnam. And we treat the Vietnam vets when they came out like dirt. We lost the war in Iraq. Killed Saddam Hussein, and the country went to hell. Dead bodies are still coming home from Afghanistan in injuries. We tried to overthrow the government in Syria, and look at what happened to the people in Syria. And the millions of refugees now trying to find shelter, being killed and treated like dogs just because they're trying to get somewhere else, to another place, because their country has been torn apart by war, bombs, missiles, airstrikes. People are dying, young and old, because we wanted a regime change in Syria. Now these supposed to be the smart people now. You shouldn't have went into Iraq. We went into Iraq. George Bush had two chances to come out of Iraq. When he got to the capital of Iraq, he could have came out. Did the investigation, look for the weapon of mass destruction. If you didn't find none, get out. But that's what you claim the man had, weapon of mass destruction. That's what you went over there for. All right, you didn't find none. Okay, whether he had them or not, you didn't find them. It make no difference whether he had them or not. You didn't have no evidence that you didn't find none of them. You didn't find weapon of mass destruction. He might have had the capability of creating them. Well, so do you, and a whole lot of other country may have the capability, but you didn't find the weapon of mass destruction. Oh, he took them. Oh, he took them. We didn't find him because he took them with him. Well, today you still haven't found weapon of mass destruction. So when you got to Baghdad and pull the man statue down, okay, you had a chance to get out. All right. You didn't find a weapon of mass destruction. You go on about your business. All right. You prove your point. Okay. When you found him, when you found Saddam Hussein, tried him, and they claim he was hung, you had a chance to get out. Mission accomplished. You got your man. But we stayed. So we got in a fight with Muslims, some of the worst people you can pick a fight with. Anytime a man will blow up 10 more other people just to kill you, he's a dangerous man. This is 808. I'm talking to you straight. So when you look at the two candidates, okay, and what they've done and what they've been involved in, what you got to lose? Okay? What you got to lose? And now let's talk about the Christians. I'm just talking to you straight here today. Let's talk about Christianity. All you so-called people that's saved and sanctified and filled with the Holy Spirit, white and black. If you're a sure enough Christian and call yourself walking in the footsteps of Christ, you can't support this government. And I'll tell you why. This government believes in murder. That's what happened to Gaddafi. That's what happened to Saddam Hussein. That's what happened to bin Laden. And that's what they're trying to do to Assad. Kill him. Not only does this country believe in the murder of leaders of other countries, but it believes in the murder of its own people. And they're doing that in many ways, in form and fashion. This country believes in and support murdering of a baby, 9 months old or less, through the word abortion. And Hillary Clinton said that an unborn child do not have any constitutional rights. And so she's not a godly woman. Okay, and when they asked her the question about, on the platform about who did she pray to and how often did she pray, if you notice, she did not answer that question. Okay. Oh, she danced and danced around it and said some things, but it was not, it wasn't coming from her soul. She was trying to sound good, but she never did answer the question. Who do she pray to? She answered the question about how often she prayed, but she didn't answer the question of who she prayed to. Okay? See, and she couldn't answer that question, okay, because she's basically not a godly woman, because a godly woman cannot believe in abortion just for the simple reason of having an abortion. When you know the rules and regulation of sex, okay, you knew that if you have sex and you're fertile, you can get pregnant. And you got pregnant, and now you want to kill the child. You want to commit murder because you don't want the responsibility of the child. Well, when you start having sex, you're saying, I want that responsibility. That's the law of God. Sex wasn't basically built for pleasure only. It was built for the creation of a human being. That's how you got here. Oh yeah, there's pleasure in sex, but it wasn't constructed by God just for the pleasure. It was there for pleasure in birth. So you know, this is 808 now, I'm talking to you straight. You know when you get out here and start bumping and grinding, there's a strong possibility you'll get pregnant. You know that. That's first grade. That's ABC. See, now if you want to have an abortion just for the sake of having an abortion, okay, that's murder. Because conception, life starts in the womb. See, everything came through the womb. We can't take that for granted. So no, an unborn child or unborn baby may not have constitutional rights, but it have godly rights. See, so when a presidential candidate make that kind of statement that an unborn child do not have constitutional rights, therefore it's all right to kill him at any stage of the pregnancy, I can't support that candidate. This is 808. I'm talking to you straight. See, so this government believes in murder. This government believes in support and make laws to support bullshit. Okay, let me tell you what bullshit is. Bullshit is something or somebody or a person that's trying to shit somebody else. Now let me tell you that again now, because you might not understand it. A bullshitter is somebody that always bullshitting and trying to shit somebody else. Okay? It ain't real. Okay? It's foolishness. Okay? It's unnatural. Okay? See? It's fraud. It's deception. All right? And let's focus on the word deception here for just a while. This government, and see, I'm talking about Christians here now. I don't see how you can support this government if you were showing up Christian. Now, if you're one of them bullshitting Christians, okay, them Christians that still lying and stealing and swindling, okay, and doing the same thing that the non-Christian is doing, then I can understand you supporting this government, okay, because you got a lot of bullshit with you. Okay, but if you're showing up Christian now, how can you support this government when this government accept and support homosexuality, lesbians, transgenders? Okay, now let's look at the word transgender, because this is a big issue here. Okay, because you should be able to identify gender. All right? By sight. Because that's the way God created it. All right? Let's take example